As expected, the Minnesota Vikings are making a signing at, well, the cornerback position is what we all hoped and assumed they would do because obviously we haven't had the great amount of luck on our side at the cornerback position. You know, the passing of Kyrie Jackson, and then we also had Mekhi Blackman, our number 2 slated corner, go down with a season-ending ACL injury. So right off the bat, everyone in Vikings Nation is basically screaming, hey, we have got to go find more corners, somebody that's capable of just stepping in there from time to time, doesn't necessarily need to take over the role at like take it over basically the entire season. Just need some bodies in that room to basically fight and to see if they can give us a chance down the stretch. Okay, keep that deep ball from happening on the offensive side of things. And well, the Vikings made a couple signings earlier. I want to say last week they made 2 signings, signing Foster somebody, can't remember his last name off the top of my head. And then we also signed Bobby McCain just yesterday from I believe he played for the Texans, if I'm not assuming. He played for a bunch of teams back in the day. And then he comes over to Minnesota. So we're slowly adding depth to that cornerback room. Still nothing spectacular. Well, today, per Mike Garafolo, the Vikings are signing veteran cornerback Fabian Moreau, sources say. Moreau played in 16 games for the Denver Broncos last season with 11 starts, recording just 1 interception and 7 passes defensed. Former third-round pick of the Washington Commanders heads into his 8th NFL season. A little bit on Moreau. He was drafted in the 3rd round, like he just said or mentioned, in 2017 by the Washington Redskins at the time. They are now considered the Commanders after a successful college career at UCLA. Now, he spent 4 seasons at Washington and has bounced around the league since then. He played for the Atlanta Falcons in 2021, and then he signed with the Houston Texans ahead of the 2022 season. I actually remember him more about him from his days when he was at the Atlanta Falcons. But the Texans made him one of their final cuts of training camp just last year, and he wound up signing with the New York Giants instead. But after that, as mentioned above, he did sign with the Denver Broncos and has now moved on to Minnesota. For his career, the 6', 200-pound Moreau has appeared in 106 games with 56 starts. He has 7 career interceptions and 42 passes defensed. Now, talking to the Broncos Syndicate host, shout out Gage Madrid over there, he's seen this guy last year. Okay, right? He started 11 games for the Denver Broncos. He actually played in 16 of those games. And basically what Gage of Broncos Syndicate told me was, hey, at the beginning of the season, it seemed like he was, performing exceptionally well. He was very reliable on the outside, did a lot of good things. But as the season started to, go on, his production dropped immensely. And he basically just told me that if you're just looking for an extra body in the room, somebody that can, play a couple downs here and there, then you probably get yourself a pretty decent guy. However, if the Vikings are going to or if they're going to start Fabian Moreau, we could be in trouble. And I didn't like hearing that because obviously we've had trouble at the cornerback position, however many years it's been at this point now. We just, for some reason, cannot find the right guys to help stop the deep attack from opposing offenses. So hopefully Fabian Moreau can make the team, and hopefully he, figures it out, okay, and starts playing some good ball down the stretch, especially when it comes down to, January and stuff like that, playoff football. I'm not saying the Vikings are going to make the playoffs. I don't think that's going to happen. I hope it's going to happen, but it's definitely a stretch at this point in time, especially when you lose your franchise quarterback in Kirk Cousins and you're moving to Sam Darnold, who, yeah, I understand has been looking pretty solid in training camp. But again, those videos are always out there every single year, making people look like gods. That might not be the case come week 1 of the regular season. Who knows? Maybe week 6, he gets replaced by J.J. McCarthy. You never know what happens in this NFL world. But, hey, Vikings are making moves at a position that we really needed them to. And I wouldn't expect this to be the last move they make at the cornerback position. There's still, I want to say, a couple bodies out there that we could add to the roster. So the Minnesota Vikings signed Fabian Moreau, 8th year in the NFL. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It'd be much, much appreciated. Have a great rest of the night, folks, and Skull Vikes.